Hello, barbecue fans. This is Jennifer Noreen of Beyond Brand Collective. I'm sitting here with Gary Parker, the barbecue boss at Barbecue to You, Point
Hi
Pleasant,
guys.
Deep Harbor, Washington. Hi, Gary. How are you?
Oh, pretty good. Having
Good,
fun, slinging Q, doing
good,
all
good,
the things
good.
a barbecue guy does.
Yes, smoking and smoking some more and
Yeah,
drinking a little beer and then ordering some more wood and then smoking some more brisket.
that's what
Right?
we do every day. Yeah, we're
Every
trying
day,
to
every
beat
day.
we're trying to beat last year's record. We have a goal this year. We're going to try to hit 40 tons of brisket this year, and we did 36 last year, so we're going to try to hit 40 tons this year.
Yeah, you should have a party if you hit 40 tons. We'll all come. We'll all come and
It-
eat brisket and drink beer.
It'll be lucky if I don't kill the boys trying to get that done, but they're having a great time. They see it all as a challenge, so that's a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, it's a good goal to have. My goodness, that's a lot of meat. So we wanted to talk today about the catering business and just get into some more details of how that works when someone chooses to hire you as a caterer, but also just kind of wondering how you compare in the market with other people who provide food for parties and events.
Yep.
So what the heck? If you had to guess, how do you think you stack up against your competitors as far as what you provide and your service and your costs? Do you think you feel confident about that, or
I
kind of
do.
where are
I
you with that?
do. Yeah, I think we give a good price for barbecue. A lot of that's an interesting question you asked because there are barbecue historically has been the lowest cost form of catering you could do, and lately, meaning probably the last 4 or 5 years, with things that are going on in the meat industry,
Mm-hmm.
supply chains, and I'm talking about even before COVID. Um, it has, briskets. That's the reason I wear on my hat. For anybody that's ever seen me on my hat, I say make brisket $1.97 again, right?
Mm-hmm.
I grew up doing this stuff. A brisket to buy a brisket, it was 89 cents a pound. I mean, so $1.97 was just outlandish, right? And
Wow.
so and
Isn't that
so and then labor rates were a lot lower. We weren't trying to retire off sweeping floors and stuff, and but if you go, and you look back on that days, I mean, a plate you could cater a plate of barbecue, in a decent one for about $8 a plate,
Yep.
right? There's no way you can do that anymore. You can't even get across labor or supply chains, for that anymore. And so you're seeing caterers, especially on their full services, go higher and higher on these things, right? And it's because of all the liability insurances that we cover, right? The employees, the supply, what it costs to make the stuff, to load it up, to to bring it out to wherever you're at, right, and set it up in a safe condition. Oh
Mhm.
man, it's getting to be really expensive.
Yeah.
But how do we compare? Is your question?
Yeah.
Um, Compared to other style catering, I still think we're probably the least expensive. Or I guess I got some friends that are doing they're catering hot dog type things and stuff like that. They'd be less expensive than me. But if you want to take a full fledged meal, like a barbecue plate is, right, and compare that against the Mexican food, the seafood, these kind of things that we see at weddings a lot, primarily. We're generally a lower cost per plate than any of the other services are.
Yep. And you're serving red meat, which is one of the higher
Yeah,
cost items in the market right now. So
absolutely.
yeah. So,
Yeah,
so you must be doing something to work to keep your costs down, because I know your competitors are more in the 18 to 25 buck a plate, and you're serving a lot of fresh food and freshly cooked meat. So
yep. Yeah,
um,
we do that. We when we set our pricing, we don't try to get the maximum we think we can get. We try to get a fair margin on and basically pay our bills, right? Um, and that's always been our philosophy, and we'll probably keep that philosophy because that's one of the things barbecue is all about. It's for the people, right? And I mean, I could always go do a UR Cooks or a John Louis Steakhouse or something like that if I really wanted to go charge high dollars for a
mhm.
piece of meat. But that's not what we do. We have more fun doing doing what we do.
Yeah, and you're trying to be able to get the opportunity to serve some families as opposed to pricing out of the market and not being able to help people. And yeah, I get it. It's the spirit of your restaurant. So, what do you think? What would the experience for a host be like? If I'm a bride or someone trying to decide putting on a graduation party, to cook the food and serve it myself versus the cost and the experience of hiring someone. So,
Yeah.
what's sort of the difference?
Yeah. First thing, yeah, that question gets asked a lot, and the first thing I ask the person asking me, I says, depends on how much time you want to spend with your guests, right?
Mm,
And so, if you think of what it takes to be a hostess, right, or a host to an event, all right, and you're going to do the cooking, all right, you're either getting up in the wee hours of the morning so you can get all that work out of the way before your guests arrive, or
mhm,
you're going to hire a caterer, right? So that you can kick back on your beautiful patio or whatever, and take a glass of wine and visit with a friend that you haven't seen in a long time, right?
mhm, mhm,
These things are events, right? You get to see people, and um, at the end of the day, when we have that conversation with clients, it's all about I'd rather spend more time with my guests than being commissioned off over by a grill or by a kitchen in a kitchen somewhere trying to get it all put together, put it on the table, answer everybody's needs, right? And these kind of things. And so in the end, that while you're going to spend a few bucks to have a caterer, I think you're going to have a much better time when a caterer um, does all that cooking for you, brings it out, drops it off hot, ready to serve at the minute that you want it, and then you move on with your party, right?
so you're really providing peace of mind and an enjoyable event, being able to connect with your guests as opposed to worrying about the food and will it get served on time and all of that. I know I've been at events personally where it was a combination, because Aunt Margaret wanted to bring the pie and Susie
Yeah,
Q wanted to bring, and it is fun, but it is chaotic, right? Because it's like,
yeah,
when will the bride and groom be ready for food, and are we going to get it out there hot? And even when it's catered, honestly, when
yeah,
it's catered, sometimes you don't get hot food. So
yeah.
I love that comparison, and I love your point about if you want to enjoy your guests, you probably should just pay the extra money and have someone bring in the food.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, we have fun. That's one of the funnest things we do is when we do drop offs at family parties and things,
Yeah.
because they've usually been going for a couple hours, and the hostess is asked us to come kind of in the middle of the party, right after everybody's had a few drinks, and
Hmm.
so then me and the guys, we kind of invade these people's homes, right,
Yep. Yep.
and okay, where you want it all put up and set up at, right, and we go dropping those big trays of food off on some table
Yep.
and deal with it. And we're kind of chaotic at it because they're usually not prepared. And but anyway, we help them out the best we can and get it dropped off, and then we get out of the way. It's a lot
Yeah.
of fun.
Yeah. It sounds like it. So, what kind of events do you cater? What's kind of the
Uh,
typical, most common event you cater?
the most common will be first of all weddings, followed by corporate parties.
Mm-hmm.
Here in Gig Harbor, we just got through doing metagenics last week, right? Which was several
Mm-hmm.
hundred people that worked there. We really love the street parties. There's a couple of street parties that we do over the years. We just finished up, or back in July, we did the Gig Harbor Art Festival. So we were downtown um, doing doing all the people coming in to look at the artists, works and stuff. And so those things are a blast. After that, we'll do every year we'll do a handful or a good number of memorial services, which may surprise you. Catering for me anyway, catering's becoming a bigger deal at memorials as well, um, and and so that's kind of been on the rise lately. You know,
Yeah.
um,
Fortunately,
the
yeah.
celebrations of life, memorials, that kind of thing.
Mhm.
Trying to think whatever other crazy stuff I've done. We've done a lot of here in the area. We have several larger families, right, with large properties,
Mhm.
and they'll put on mini concerts. I mean, I literally showed up at one in July. Big property, big ranch property type of thing. Drove around, came in, like you would typically think of a ranch around here, and we pulled up over by this barn, and there's a sound stage set up, and I mean, you think you're in a mini street concert, but then this is just a private gig, for a big family party or a big company party, I guess. But um, yeah, so we'll do all kinds of things. We haven't found something we're not going to do yet, but I'm sure there's something out there, so I don't want to make that a challenge or anything. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, for
yeah.
sure. What is the
But
most what's the
there are
most outlandish event you've ever catered?
Oh, probably the ones I just told you about, where you show up out there and it's a big, either a big street party or it's a big family, back in the woods kind of party.
Yeah.
Because none of them want you to leave. You're immediately a guest when you show up because you're the barbecue guy.
And you
And
and you
not only do
yeah,
you feed them, they start handing you beers and doing all kinds of stuff, right? And going, come on, stay with us, party all night long. Yeah, I'm going, well, I can't. I got other deliveries I got to go do, right?
yeah,
But those are interesting to get in and out of when we do those.
yeah. So what's included? So I know it's obviously the brisket that you're famous for, but in all the meats, so brisket, sausage, chicken,
Yeah,
pulled pork, all that, if I
yeah.
whatever I want, right? But what about cold sides? What about drinks? What about alcohol?
Yeah, we do. Especially on the catering side of things. We do all the same things we do in the store: the deviled egg potato salad and coleslaw. We will not take fried foods out on catering because they just won't survive. They'll just get soggy on you, and
Mm,
and we've never discovered a way where we could actually successfully give you a great fried okra out in the out in the wilderness. It will be,
mm,
but we'll do almost everything else. Some of the things we have some things on the catering menu though that we don't have in the store, right? So like for catering, we'll offer Caesar salad. We offer cream corn. I've been known to make specialty items, for people, from if I have the recipe for it. So these are things that are not in the store normally, right? And but they are Southern tradition type side dishes and things, and we know how to make them. We just don't have the capacity to make them for the store.
So
So
if I don't see it on your catering menu, and by the way, there's a pretty extensive catering section on the website here. You just go here, and
right,
it'll take you through, pick up catering or delivery catering, full service catering is at the bottom.
yep,
But if I don't see what I'm looking for, do I
right.
call you? Do you
You can
ever serve up specialty items or not so much?
we talk if somebody's got something that they want, right? They usually tell me about it when we put the quote together. So we'll
Mm-hmm.
have a conversation, right, about what we do, what we don't do,
Mm-hmm.
and then it usually comes up, hey, I want the bacon and green beans, or I want cream corn. Oh, you do cream corn? That's wonderful. Yeah. So you know, um, sometimes I have to say no because I don't know how to make those things, right? But or I can't get the ingredients. There's some people that instead of the tradition or the restaurant style cornbread mix, they want old style cornbread, which is meal, right? And and bacon grease and a couple things all put together to make that muffin. I do them if I can get the stuff, but you know a matter of fact, when I was down at the parents' house in Austin not too long ago, I kept looking for the cornmeal or the corn grinder, right? Because we had one as a kid, right? Where 'cause we would dry our own corn and pull it and shuck it off the
Mm-hmm.
cobs into the grinder, and it was a hand crank grinder, and
I
you run
remember.
it through there a couple. Yeah, you run through a couple times, and you got your own cornmeal, and it's fresh, right?
Yeah, my
And
mom
you,
had one
you
of
could
those.
bite the chickens off of it anyway,
Big
but.
silver contraption that made lots of noise and
Oh yeah,
grind.
they were tons of fun, right? And that was the warm up, for the ice cream maker, which was also a hand crank when I was growing up. But you know,
Mhm,
but yeah, there's some things we just can't get. We can't get the pieces for anymore, and so we have to say no. But we'll always look around at those kinds of things and see if we can do special stuff if if it's feasible.
mhm. And what about so alcohol? You aren't able to serve in a
No,
catering environment, but you do
no,
sell
I
it.
can't. I can't transport alcohol. I'm only licensed for here in the store.
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
very cool. Well,
But I will take cokes and waters and these kind of things. So like when we do the charity event out at the raceways, right? We've got one that we do out there. Um, and with that one, we always take the big ice chests, and we take a couple hundred cokes and sprites and diet cokes and waters and what have you out there to go with the meal. So it's not that we can't; it's just we generally don't because most of the events we do, the host has a different plan for the drinks,
mm,
and they don't really want to burden us with it because they're going to do something different, something special for their guests. You know.
got it. So make a special request. You may or may not be able to fulfill it, but it's worth
Yeah.
asking. So if
Yeah.
I'm planning a party for the fall, or heaven forbid, next weekend,
Mhm.
what's the best way, most efficient way to get a hold of you to put that order in?
Well, you got the website. It sends me emails. Now I do get behind on emails, so nobody get mad at me,
Mhm.
right? Because
Mm.
we're out catering all the time anyway, and so I do those. I do those in the wee hours of the morning or the late in the evenings while I'm waiting
Mhm.
to close the store. Right? That's when I get.
Mhm.
Matter of fact, I have like 12 of them that I have to do on my email right now. Right? That are come in. Um, but yeah, I got to run a restaurant too, so I don't get to answer all of them as fast as I want to.
Mhm.
Uh, but yeah, the website is probably the best way because that way it logs it and it's on my email and I eventually will get to it. Right? You can
Yeah.
call the store if you're going to do a smaller party, 25 people or something like that. Don't don't worry about the website. Just call the store, and the best time to call the store is right before we open, like 10:15, 10:30, because we're going to open at 11. And the guys are here. They're usually done getting ready for the open, and they're kind of just hanging. And the phone rings. They love picking it up, and taking those orders, right?
Yeah. So you're available to chat with people if they need to call, or but the best way probably is the website, just more efficient for you.
Right.
And an email. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, very good. Well, I know you're busy trying to run a restaurant, and also running a very busy catering business. It's
Yeah.
exciting to see your business grow that way. Can I just do a short promo of these schools that you're supporting? I know you're also a philanthropy guy.
Oh
Um,
yeah, yeah.
just want to put in here that Gary is supporting Goodman, Gig Harbor Cooperative, Pioneer Elementary, Artondale School, Peninsula, and lacrosse team, and
Yep.
other schools. And the way to participate in giving to our local schools at Gary's Restaurant Barbecue to You is to save your receipt, go over and put it in the glass bucket, and there's Lucy will get the money to the right place. 10% of the cost of your receipt will
Yeah,
go.
subtotal. 10% of the subtotal. So that way
10%.
we take it before the tax, right? So
Yeah.
10% of the subtotal goes back to the school that's owns the counter that week.
Yep. So super generous, and we appreciate that, Gary. And it's a fun way to see you support. I know Backpack for Kids is active this time of year. I don't know. You guys usually are involved with them, aren't you, as well?
Yeah, but I haven't seen them lately. So they may be on the schedule for one of their events. I haven't seen the whole year yet. So
Yeah.
uh, these schools were the first ones that when we put the word out. That immediately jumped on and said, "Yes, we want our time slot right," and so they were getting on there quickly. Since this list, there's been several more, but I don't have that list in front of me to read them off to you right now.
Yeah.
Uh,
And
but,
if you're
uh,
interested,
but the year's almost full. The school year is almost full now across time. So
that's what I was just going to ask you. So is it a week at a time that they get the receipts?
they'll just have to get a hold of Lucy and see what's available. We do have people that first sign up and then they'll drop because this or that. But
Mhm.
so all through the year there's opportunities. So you just got to stay tuned and because it is a popular thing, right? These sometimes these schools will book multiple weeks across the year, right?
Yeah, I bet
So,
they do. Sure.
yeah,
Percentage of your revenue, that would be
yeah,
fantastic. Or percentage of your receipts, I should say.
mm,
I sounded like a marketer there for a minute. So,
yeah,
well, always good to see you. Thanks for taking the time to chat with us. If you guys
yeah.
have questions, feel free to leave them in the comments or send your questions to gparker at bbq to you. G Parker at texasbbqtoyou.com.
There you go.
Visit the website and fill out the contact us form. Gary's a lot better at getting back to people than he gives himself credit for. We're also on Instagram and Facebook. You can also leave messages or comments there, and we're responsive to those as well. If you had a great experience at Barbecue to You, please review Barbecue to You on Google. It's super easy to do. We would love to hear feedback, even if it's good or bad or ugly. We want to hear how we're doing. So please leave a Google review as well. So,
Yeah.
Gary, we'll talk again next week.
See you guys.
Next month. See ya. Bye.